Good evening and welcome to Live United. Live United is a program hosted by Monadnock United Way that highlights the wonderful services and programs that are making life better for citizens of the Monadnock region. My name's Nikki Sauber with Monadnock United Way, and I am so pleased to have Corinne Marcoux of the City of Keene with us here tonight. Hi, Corinne.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely.
So we brought you on today to talk about your experience as a loaned employee with Monadnock United Way's last fundraising campaign. So tell me a little bit more about what a loaned employee is and what they do.
Well, a loaned employee works with the United Way as well as works directly with businesses in the area. We are sort of the go-between with the actual United Way and the businesses, making sure that their campaigns are kicked off successfully and that they are run successfully. We are there to help with fundraising ideas. We're there for anything that they need, scheduling speakers, anything in any way that they need help with, and getting their campaigns kicked off and run smoothly.
That's great. And so what does a typical relationship with a business look like? So for instance, you know, you're a loan employee with Monadnock United Way. You're assigned to be a liaison with a bank, for instance. What would you do to work with this bank?
Well, first off, we're connected with the employee company coordinator, the ECC, for that business. And we work together on whatever is needed. I'm introduced to them. I will present to them any packet or any information for their campaign, their pledge cards. This past year, since it was local footprints was the theme, I had found a PDF or an image of footprints, and I printed them out in multicolored, and the businesses were able to post those all over their businesses as a heads up that the campaign was coming. And I made sure that they received all of their campaign packets. We scheduled a speaker if they wanted.
And what kind of speaker might that be?
There was area speakers that had knowledge of the United Way or had a very compelling story that they could share with the company. A lot of it was just so that the employees can know and understand that the United Way is there to help everyone. The agencies, I should say, are there to help everyone. And the United Way is here to help those agencies, help everybody in our community. Because the agencies that are here in the city, or I should say in the Monadnock area, are here for everyone, from infants to seniors and everyone in between. And it's not just someone who's down on their luck or who's unemployed or whatnot. It's for anybody. There's agencies that are available for people who are going through cancer or any family member that you know of or friend that's going through cancer. There's support groups. And that was a huge surprise for me when I was training for the United Way, for the loaned employee program. I really didn't realize how many agencies were out there and that it wasn't just for someone who's down on their luck. Their agencies are there for everyone.
Yeah, so seems like you had a big learning experience in learning about not just Monadnock United Way, but other local businesses and how they collaborate with United Way to raise funds.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a huge surprise to hear, well, actually during the week of our training, because the loaned employees, we all were gathered together and we had about 32 hours training prior to going out into the area businesses. And during that training time, we were introduced to some of the agencies, and we actually had fun little road trips and field trips that we were able to go and see and meet the workers in these agencies. And it was amazing to see that it was, Rise for Babies and, the River Center. And I was amazed that there were services available for, I didn't realize that there were services available so that, like for myself, if my parent couldn't be at home anymore on their own, they could still live on their own, but they needed a little bit of help during the day, that there's a senior center that they can be dropped off during the day. And they could spend time there and enjoy an afternoon with other seniors so they weren't just home. Or that there's services to help, especially this time of year, with tax preparation. For some people who may not have a computer at home or who may need a little bit of assistance in any capacity, there's tax prep help. You know, I was really surprised that there were all these services that were available for people that I didn't know.
And I think through this education, I mean, I can hear it in just how you're sharing all of this with me, that what you've learned through being a lone employee has really inspired you and empowered you to be a more vocal advocate for all of these services that are offered in our community and for Monadnock United Way. And on behalf of the organization, I just want to say thank you for donating your volunteer time, because the campaign cannot run without volunteers. Collectively, there's about a network of approximately 500 volunteers between lone employees like yourself who dedicate tens of, at least 10 hours a week, if not more, during campaign season to build those connections with businesses. There are the employee campaign coordinators who work at businesses but are liaisons with the United Way and also volunteer their time. There are so many other volunteers involved with the campaign that help Monadnock United Way build a very strong network that allow us to be more efficient fundraisers, more impactful fundraisers, and all of this money, of course, is being raised to support these agencies that provide such good services. So thank you again for being a part of this volunteer network, because we really can't do it without you.
It was a lot of fun. It was one of the huge benefits that I take away from my time as a lone employee was the people that I met, and that was from everyone at Monadnock United Way to the other lone employees, where we're now this group of friends, and that we enjoyed our time together, but we still do outside of, and also the businesses. There were a lot of businesses that I drove by that, for the past umpteen years that I've been here, that I never knew what it was. And now going into these businesses, meeting these people and meeting the employees and talking to them, it was fun. I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed it.
That's great, and I know just hearing through the grapevine that you were an all-star lone employee, and were able to rally a bunch of really exciting events for different businesses and the employees there. I know that you're an employee of the City of Keene, is that right? And you were able to organize a pretty successful T-shirt day, right, at your office, is that right?
Yeah, apparently I have a reputation of being shameless, and I just, really increased the sales on the T-shirts, and we sold quite a few T-shirts, and we had a T-shirt jean day where you buy a T-shirt and make a donation to wear jeans, or if you already had a T-shirt, just make a donation, and that was pretty successful. We did that twice, and
we have a couple of photos of those those days, and let's see if we can get them queued up too. Oh, so here's a photo of you with your lone employee class. Those folks that you say that you've met and now are still friends with.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
This was taken at the Keene Family YMCA.
Yeah, that was a really fun day. Yeah, they was work in that's Sandra Miller, and she works in Human and Youth Services, and Carlotta Pini, she works in our purchasing contracts. Yeah. And that's our system department, Diane Stoddard, Kathy Bellavo, and Tim Ballantyne. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it seems like your activities brought a lot of joy and excitement to the day-to-day office routine.
Yeah.
So that's great.
And that's just part of it, just getting the message out and getting the message out there about the fundraising and the campaign, and in a fun way so that people are engaged, and it just makes them happy and just makes them more willing to help donate.
Sure.
Just to get the word out there. Just a fun way to do that. Yeah.
Sure. And do you have any other examples of really fun campaigns that you ran or that you were a part of?
There was one business that the ECC had baked baked cupcakes, and she put little prizes in some of them. And depending on what the prize was, that when you had to obviously make a donation to get a cupcake, but then there were different incentives inside the cupcakes. The different prizes meant different things. So and I don't remember specifically what the prizes were, but some of the prizes, the larger prizes, were like scratch tickets, preferred parking spots, there was one, it was a day off. I think it was a gold coin that she had inside of it. So if you got the gold coin, you got a day off. So that was a lot of fun. There was fundraisers where raffles, they had gone out and made baskets of goodies donated from local area businesses. And again, they had days off and parking spots. And people were really vying for those days off in that preferred parking spot. It was amazing how much people were willing to donate for that. So it was fun. It was fun.
I heard of one campaign. I'm not sure if it was your one that you worked on or not, but I know that there's a raffle for a preferred parking spot in a downtown Keene business that does not have parking for employees. And I think collectively they raised nearly $2,000 in this one raffle at just for this one spot, which
it was
mind blowing.
Yeah, I was part of that one for another loan employee and another loaned employee. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
What a riot.
Yeah.
And so it seems like the loaned employees just come up with such creative ideas to engage local businesses, which is fantastic. I was wondering, did you find anything challenging about being a loaned employee?
One of the things that I found was I had to overcome my fear of not doing enough, of not being clear enough in getting my message across. That was my biggest challenge, is I wanted to make sure that I was getting the message across in a way that the majority of the people can understand and can hear me. And I worked with Catherine and Cameron over at the United Way, and they helped with that, and the week training helped with that. And the ECCs that I worked with were also really fantastic because they've been doing this for a long time. So they helped ease that as well. So I think that was the biggest fear for me, the biggest challenge.
Do you feel like you developed any new skills or improved any part of like professional development areas through being a loan employee?
Public speaking was a big one, and I think that was the majority for the loan employees. Where you sort of have to get over that fear, and picking up the phone call, the phone and making that initial call to the business, or even doing that initial email and reaching out to a business. So that's a little bit easier now.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, because we know it's not easy, and public speaking is the number one fear out of most Americans. So
it is.
We're really happy you're able to sharpen up on those skills and feel comfortable with that. Yeah. Do you have any fun stories from, or any really poignant moments from your time as a loaned employee that you'd be willing to share?
Well, when I was first asked to be a loan employee, I was really skeptical.
Who asked you?
Our HR director,
Nice.
Beth Fox. She had asked. And every year there's a new loaned employee. And actually, as a side note, with all of my work with the United Way this year and as a loaned employee for the city, I had suggested that we stick with just one loan employee, and I'd like to continue to do that for the city next year. I think it's a lot easier, and so.
And it's a victory for United Way, because you're a wonderful loan employee.
Oh, thank you.
Be grateful for it.
But I was really skeptical about being a loan employee, and I was really skeptical about the United Way. And I had never really donated or participated in any of the campaigns prior to. I was like, no, I'm going to donate to my own charities, I'm going to do my own thing. And I was always standoffish on it. And it wasn't until I became a loaned employee and I went through the training and I was able to see the different agencies that were helping, the United Way was helping, that I realized that the agencies that were around and available for me when I needed it, when I was first divorced and I had lost my job during the recession and I needed assistance, that I needed, the community kitchen, and I needed Monadnock Family Services for, child issues that I had with one of my kids, some issues that I had. And it wasn't until then that I realized that I shouldn't have been so hard on the United Way in those years prior to, that, the Monadnock United Way and these agencies are here, like I said earlier, they're here for everyone. And they help a lot of people. And they do a lot of good, a lot of really good work. And it struck me, that first week, in how much I had relied unknowingly on the Monadnock United Way. So that was a real eye-opener. Yeah.
Wow, what a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that, and glad to hear that you were able to receive the help that you needed at those times from these safety net services. And as I said before, the support of volunteers to help, not only spread the word, but hopefully create funding for these programs. It's really, really important.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other comments about being a loaned employee, or any calls to action for anybody who might be listening tonight, why they might want to be a loaned employee someday?
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity to be part of the community, to really get involved, and to continue to be involved even after the fact, to stay involved. And the United Way does, like I said, does a lot of good for our community, and not just Keene, but I was surprised to hear about from out in Peterborough and Jaffrey and Ringe, and there are 13 other communities, am I correct, of around the area that these agencies help. And in any given time, anybody will need it. And I highly suggest someone being a loaned employee to take your time. It's not, actually, like you said, about 10 hours a week. It's not a whole lot, and it's really worth it. It's rewarding. You'll feel good about yourself. You have a warm feeling about, a really good warm feeling about donating your time.
Well, thank you, Corinne. We really appreciate all that you've given, and your advocacy for being a loaned employee and for volunteering with the United Way. And we get a lot of the same warm, fuzzy feelings by building relationships with strong community leaders like yourself. So we appreciate your time, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And audience, if you're interested in being a loaned employee, you're welcome to contact Monadnock United Way at any old time. Our campaign is just wrapping up for this year, but we will be running another fundraising campaign not too far from now. So you can always reach Monadnock United Way at 352-4209. You can email me, Nikki, at nikki@muw.org. Always happy to take your email and answer any questions you might have about volunteering. And so that wraps up our show for this evening. I want to thank you for joining us on the Live United program. I hope you remember to give, to advocate, to volunteer, and to live united. Thanks.